Hello, everybody, and welcome to Women's Empowerment Coffee Break. I am your host, Rochelle Higgins. I am so excited about what the Lord is about to do tonight. Today, our topic is enough is enough. And I know sometimes in our life we may go through certain circumstances where we have to say enough is enough, when we have to say, I cannot continue going like this. Something needs to change. Something needs to move. Something needs to happen because everyone reached that point where we have to pivot and we have to understand that we may have to draw the line and say, God, what are you doing in this season? Because I see all this going on. I see all this chaos and how do I navigate through that? And so we have Reverend Robyn Burnett. Oh my God, I met her years ago in the Ninth Episcopal District and the AME Church, and she has been near and dear to my family. Her family has been near and dear to my heart. She has played a major role in just be helping me with my children, and she's just a nurturer at heart. And I'm so grateful to have her come share with us today. Reverend Burnett is retired from the United States Army, has a bachelor's of business administration, and is a registered nurse. As a registered nurse who specializes in behavioral health, she has witnessed the urgency of humankind to accept and love their personal being. Her emphasis is holistic mental health, which involves the mind, psychological, body, physiological, and soul, spiritual. Through conferences, workshops, seminars, she encourages and motivates individuals to explore who God is, along with their true identity and an identity that usually lies trapped beneath a plethora of layers used to please the spaces in which we find ourselves. Reverend Burnett realizes that attaining authenticity and falling in love with self is a redemptive experience that will enable us to enter the process of wholeness. Reverend Burnett is a graduate of Turner Seminary of the Interdenominational Theological Center, ITC, in Atlanta, Georgia, with a Master's of Divinity. While Reverend Burnett was matriculating at ITC, she allowed liberation theology to permeate and flow through her being. This forced her lens to focus on liberation for all who are oppressed and marginalized, which caused her to coin the phrase intersectional hope. Her ministry is aimed at traveling the many routes, highways, and paths that meet at a human intersection to combat discrimination, poverty, marginalization, illiteracy, hunger, and other toxic, oppressive anomalies that cripple our communities. Here we have none other than Reverend Robyn Burnett. We thank you for coming on this platform. So, the topic is enough. So I want us to talk a little bit about that because I know sometimes we may go through that in our lives and we may not understand what that means. But I want you to expound on what do you mean by enough is enough? We can't hear you. You have to unmute yourself.
Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you so much, Rochelle, for the opportunity to be able to use my voice, in such an important topic. Enough is enough. Enough is enough can be a negative and it can be a positive on this in the beginning. Enough is enough means that I have taken all that I can, everything spiritually, psychologically, and causing me physical turmoil and trauma. It's enough.
Mm.
Add it up to here. And no longer am I going to allow myself to be placed in spaces, places, environments, Malos, or anything else that is going to cause my being, is going to cause me and my family hardship and trauma, to where I am no longer in control of not only myself, but not in control of my being and the situations in which I find myself in. But I don't want to say that like I have it all figured out and have everything all together. I say that coming from a social location of being a Black woman, of being a Black woman in America. And I understand that when in the hierarchy of America, especially coming from the United States Army, in the hierarchy of America, being a Black woman, I fall in the lens of America, I fall at the bottom. I fall at the bottom where, if I use the word enough, where I was taught in the Army that I'm not enough. Being taught that you're not enough, and many Black women believe that we are not enough. Women in general, because if we talk about a white woman, Caucasian woman, they fall at the bottom of a hierarchy of whiteness. It just so happens that as Black women, we fall at the bottom of the hierarchy of humankind. But in the Army, when you are taught that you're just a number, when you're taught that you are just a number, you're a social security number, and you're expendable because you can be replaced at any time. And that seeps into you, and you start believing it. And then for me, shifting from the Army, which is an institution and a system, shifting from there to another institution and system, which is called church. Church is something that we, especially as a people of color, that we navigate to because we feel as if though we need church to fulfill our being. We need church to fulfill our needs. We need church, and we need the connection of that in which we call church in order to make it in everyday life. But it's different when you're on the end where you are clergy. You fit different, you look different, and you are expected to be a different person. You're not even allowed to be who you be. People expect you, who are congregation members, expect you to be this thing that they have made up called godly. They expect you to be perfect. They expect you to never do anything wrong. That is not healthy when one tries to live that way. But when you're trying to please people and get them to come and continue to come to church, you'll find yourself doing things that are not healthy, not only for them, but not for you. But when you enter into another system, from being at the bottom of the totem pole, and then you enter a system that is predominantly Black, but you find yourself again at the bottom. Because I am a woman first. I am a Black woman first. So being a Black woman first, falling at the bottom of systems, we have to make a decision. What are we going to do with this? How are we going to navigate through this? How am I going to what am I going to do in these situations in which I find myself in, and others don't see me as important? Others begin to treat me as if though I am important. Am I going to allow this to continue? Or am I going to put a stop to it? Am I going to try to stay the strong Black woman and I can take all of this on, which leads to depression? It leads to anxiety. And for some, it has even led to suicidal ideations. It can destroy households. It can destroy ministries. It can destroy friendships. Because trying to be the strong Black woman, whether you are clergy, whether you are CEO, whether you are a teacher, regardless, even if you're working up the street at the convenience store, if you're trying to be the strong Black woman and take on what the world says that you are, then you'll find yourself by yourself, feeling as if though you are nothing. And that's where I was in December of last year. In December of last year, it didn't matter. Money doesn't matter. Cars don't matter. I found myself forgetting that first and foremost, I am somebody. I forgot that because others had placed so much pressure on me. Others had placed so much trauma and negative pessimism in my life. Others who were supposed to be nurturing me and supposed to be ensuring that I was taken care of. Others who were supposed to be lifting me up in ministry and not tearing me down. Others who were supposed to at least give me a pat on the back instead of going and taking names and smearing them through. And I'm sure people can resonate with these things. Having allowed that to go on for so many years, it became my norm. Sometimes the abnormal becomes our norm. And when the abnormal becomes our norm, we're in trouble. And we've got to figure out a different way. We've got to figure out something different. Well, that's what happened in December. In December, I finally figured out I'm more than just a number. I don't have to be the strong Black woman because that's toxic. I no longer have to try to be who people say that clergy should be. Because I know who I am and I know who God created me to be. And I'm not churchy. I'm not churchy at all. But I made a decision. I made a decision that no longer am I going to allow systems to control me. And at that point, I said, enough is enough. Enough is enough. But enough is enough had nothing to do with everybody else. It had everything to do with me. Enough is enough had nothing to do with what everybody had put on me. Enough is enough was what I allowed to be put on me. Enough is enough had nothing to do with the fact that people were tearing up my name, but it was that I was allowing it to infect me. Enough is enough had nothing to do with my outside. It had everything to do with my inside. I was unwell. I was unwell holistically, yet trying to use my voice to help others. That right there is an oxymoron all within itself. I was toxic to myself. So if I was toxic to myself, then that means that what I was putting out and spewing out had to be toxic.
Wow.
So enough is enough means more about what is going on with me than what I'm allowing to happen. So we have to get in a place, in a space that we realize who we are. As women,
right,
and taught, you're supposed to be able to handle this. You're supposed to do this. No, I'm not supposed to be able to do anything. Well, you should. No, don't should on me. And when enough is enough, we don't allow people to should on us anymore.
Right.
When enough is enough, no, I'm not going to allow you to do this to me, and I'm not going to allow you to put this on me because I'm now in control of me. We used to have a saying, we used to tell people, you're not all that in a bag of chips. Well, when enough is enough, you say, yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
And a bag of chips. Yes, I am. When enough is enough, you stop walking in, well, you need to swallow your pride. No, I'm not swallowing who I am. But we've been taught to swallow who you are. No, enough of that. No longer am I going to swallow anything. I'm going to walk in my boldness. I'm going to walk and open up my mouth, and I'm going to look from a different lens. And that lens is going to be a clearer lens of who I am. And once I see me, There's nothing else that I will allow to deter me from living the life that God has purposed me to live
That's good.
and walking in my authenticity, right?
Mm, right.
You love long hair. I love short hair.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm going to wear my short hair because I like it. And there are people I've listened to people all my life tell me, even in the you need to let your hair grow. I tell you what,
Right.
you like long hair, you let your because I'm good with who I am, but you have to get to that place in that space. Everybody's not there.
Right.
But when you decide that enough is enough with that, I don't have to listen to what people think or what people say about the way I should look. I like the way I look.
Right.
Even with the dress code, enough is enough with that. I don't need to listen to you tell me how to dress. I dress the way I want to dress. I love blue jeans and t-shirts.
Right. Yeah.
Blue jeans and t-shirts are my thing. And if I want to wear blue jeans and t-shirts daily, then enough is enough of that what you say, because no one cares about the blue jeans and t-shirt when they're hungry.
Right.
They don't have a house. They're they don't have the things that they need. And I walk up to them and I have on a blue jeans and t-shirt. No one's ever asked me, why do you have that on? People that are in need of help, people that I've been placed here for, they never ask me about those things. They never ask me about my hair. And why is my hair short? They could care less. So when you say enough is enough, then you move past caring about silly stuff, caring about things that don't matter, things that are not going to make and allow me to be healthy, and things that are not going to allow me to spew out of my mouth things that are healthy for the environments and spaces in which I find myself in, especially the children that I am here raising.
Right.
They need to know that when they enter into places and spaces, they're to walk in and be authentic. Be who they be. And stop putting on a facade and trying to be something that others want you to be.
Right.
I want to say briefly that when we're born, our mothers, I love my mother. But when we're born, our mothers and our fathers or our grandmothers or whomever is raising us or whoever brings us home from the hospital, they've already got our lives picked out for us.
Right.
They've got it figured out. Blue room, pink room, doll babies,
Right.
Tonka toys, no G.I. Joes for you because you're a girl. Well, guess what? I like G.I. Joe, right? I like G.I. Joe. I like climbing trees. I like everything that the boys liked, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's healthy. It is healthy. It's enough. Enough is enough with that as well. With raising our children, enough is enough. Allow our children to be who they be. Allow them to grow up in a healthy manner, and stop trying to force on them. When you grow up, you're going to be a doctor. When you grow up, I was going to be a doctor. Mm-hmm. I am a registered nurse, but you're going to be a doctor, and you're going to be this, and you're going to be that. No. Enough is enough with all of that as well. Allow me to be who God called me to be, not who you want me to be. Because that leads into a toxicity. That leads people to a place in a space that is unhealthy. Walking who I be. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So you talk about healthy, and so I want to know, like, how can we, someone who's on that breaking point, like, how do they set the necessary boundaries that are healthy to help them, with this enough is enough. Like when when we put in this healthy boundary, help us navigate. How do we do that?
Setting a boundary in this life is not something that you can do in isolation. Again, I let you know that I don't have it all together. It is not something that you do in isolation. When you come to enough is enough and you are at your breaking point, I go to therapy weekly. I love my therapist. Enough is enough. When you are at a breaking point, that means that psychologically, spiritually, and that means that maybe even physically, you can feel your body going through turmoil. You need to ensure that you have somebody on your team. I recommend finding a therapist or a great counselor having a psychologist, clinical psychologist, and being at a breaking point, if you feel as if though your psyche has shifted in a way that is so unhealthy, get a psychiatrist, right?
Right.
I'm not against medication. God is good. And people will say, pray about it. That I'm gonna pray for you. I'm praying for you to go to the psychiatrist and the psychologist.
Yes. Yes.
I'm praying for you to go to a place that you can receive what you need in order to be healthy. There's nothing wrong with the psychiatrist. I know back in my day, it meant you were crazy. Well,
Right.
guess what? If I have to tell the story, we all got a little cray cray. All of us. All of us have these idiosyncrasies that are just a little off, you know? Catch me on whatever day. And you'll say, what is she doing? That does not make sense. Sometimes the things I do don't make sense and don't make dollars. But isolation is not a way to navigate through the breaking point. And I've heard people say, I'm just going to be by myself. I don't need
Mm.
nobody. When you hear
Right.
yourself saying that, you know you need help.
Mhm.
When you hear yourself say, I don't need anyone, you are now at a place in a space where you are broken. Now, you are not at the breaking point. You are now broken. Find a good therapist, though. I fired so many therapists until I finally got to the one I need.
Right.
I have fired them because whenever a therapist opened up their mouth and said, you know, you need to trust in God, you're fired. You're fired. I want to talk. That's not what I need. I know God.
Right.
God is God, and God is guiding all by God's self, and God doesn't need my help to be God. I need you to be a therapist. I don't need you to try to be God. And I don't need a pastor. I have one of those.
Mm.
That's not what I need. But I don't want anyone to think that therapy is the end all, but therapy is what it needs to be for those who need it. And breaking point, enough is enough. That means you are at a space and time that you need someone besides, in addition to, let me say this, in addition to the pastor.
Right.
And if your pastor tries to be your clinician, you might need to tell your pastor that they are working outside of their
Their
scope.
scope. Come on.
They're working outside of their scope. Pastors are not clinicians. Pastors,
Right.
they bring you in and they can do pastoral counseling, which fills your spiritual being, but you need to go seek some assistance. And it's nothing wrong with going to therapy. And if you live in my area, I know the free therapists, right? I
Right.
just, if you have children who have reached breaking points, I just learned of some therapists that see children pro bono.
Mm.
Pro bono. So we've got to really seek after that mental health assistance, mental wellness, because enough is enough. It speaks for itself. It means we're at a place in our time that we can't handle it anymore.
Right.
Whatever we're going through, whatever is happening, we are no longer able to handle it on our own. And I hear somebody, I hear it, I hear him say, God. God is everywhere. God is already everywhere. God created therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists. God created them. And he gave them a gift that is above and beyond. And he gave them a patience. He gave them a knowledge. And he gave it to them so that people who are on the breaking point and are at this place of enough is enough, they come to them to help them navigate through their journey. Don't throw the Bible away now. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Mm.
Because there are so many biblical characters who reach that point, right?
And give us some biblical strategies. You said biblical characters. Give us some of that to help us like navigate. Like how do we? What does the Bible say about this breaking point of enough is enough? Like who is a strong example that we can see navigate helping us navigate through this?
My favorite, my favorite show, my favorite is a woman.
Mm.
My favorite is a woman. My mom knows, she says, if I hear about that woman one more time, but I see her from so many areas. The woman with the issue of blood.
I love it.
The woman with the issue of blood. You got to look at her. People
Mm,
don't look at her for what she's really going through. This woman, 12 years, she's been ostracized from her entire community.
yeah.
She's bleeding. She's been ostracized from the entire community because she is bleeding, and because in her culture they say if a woman is bleeding, they cannot be within the community. They have to go on the outskirts until they finish with their cycle for that month. Well, she had a cycle for 12 years.
My
So
God.
imagine being ostracized from your husband, from your children, from your grandmother, your grandfather, from your girlfriend, your boyfriend, from everybody in which you communicate with, or the people that you make you feel safe or make you feel comfortable. You're not even able to sit around and chat with the girls, because
Mm,
the girls, they come out there with you, but only once every 30 days do you see them. You're out there by yourself. This woman had nobody.
wow.
So she has nobody, and then here she comes, and she's going, and she has spent every dime.
Every time.
So now she broke. So now you're broke. You don't have friends. Your husband, he gone. Because I'm sure now he's got him a boo thing on the side. Because what do you know? Let's be real. 12 years, he's not going to denounce his customs and culture for you. Because again, oh, like black women, she's at the bottom of the totem pole. He's not denouncing his culture, and they're allowed to have more than one wife. Don't get it twisted. So you're just out there. Now you don't have any friends. You don't have any money. You don't know what to do. What do I do? I've exhausted everything. I'm at the 12-year point. What do I do? I've prayed. I have prayed and I've prayed and I've prayed and I've prayed for 12 years, but nothing seems to work. Oh, who is this? What's his name? Yeshua. Well, who is this Yeshua? Well, the girl, let me tell you. Because you know she had to hear it on the outskirts
Right.
of
She, right.
She had to hear about it on the outskirts of town because she's not allowed in town. So she's got some girlfriend coming over there talking about, girl, let me tell you, it's this Yeshua. And he been going through town. You remember that man that couldn't hear? Remember that man who was blind? I remember him. Girl, you know Bartimaeus. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember him. Girl, he can see. Stop playing. No, for real, Bartimaeus can see. And remember the dude that kept begging? And they kept talking about, I won't nobody put me in the water.
Yeah. The man that for 38 years.
I remember that. What happened to him? Did he die? No, girl. She said, you get up. Well, you don't, I can't get up. Get up. He walking. Stop playing. No, I'm telling you, he went through town. I saw him the other day. Okay. I'm gonna take my chances. I'm gonna do something that women have never done before. I'm
Mm,
gonna go in town bleeding.
wow.
I'm gonna do something women have never done before. I'm gonna go amongst the men. I'm gonna go where
Mm,
I am not even allowed, where folks say I can't go, where my presence is not wanted, and my presence is actually it's banned. I'm gonna chance being stoned to death because I'm going to see Yeshua. I'm gonna see him, but I'm not gonna go and I'm not gonna walk up in there bold. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crawl down. I'm gonna crawl through. I'm gonna crawl through.
mm.
And they're not gonna pay me any mind because they're all up top. So I'm gonna go to the lowest of the low. That's why I say God is everywhere. God is even down. When I'm low down, God's down there with me. So I'm gonna go to the lowest of the low, and I'm gonna touch the fringes on the hem of his garment.
Come on.
Regardless of what they say, I've had enough.
Mm,
I've had enough. I can't take it no more. Hopefully, this Yeshua that everybody's been telling me about can do something for me.
yeah.
So that's why, as a Christian, that's Christianity is so cool with me, right? Following Jesus, this woman literally followed Jesus, touched him, got a hold to his garment. And when she got a hold to it, It says she was made whole. She was made whole means she stopped bleeding. Now, her enough is enough led her to the point where she reached out for help. Woo.
Yeah.
She sought help.
Yes.
And she sought help of someone who was qualified, who was a bona fide help for the sister at the time.
Yeah.
She was in need. She didn't just stay by herself anymore. She took a chance. She took a chance.
She took a chance.
And I know that story because I said, yeah, they say, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do it anyway. Regardless of what they say, I'm gonna go ahead and take a chance and I'm gonna do it anyway. They said you can't come in here, I'm going anyway.
Mm.
And she went anyway, and she had to do what she had to do when enough was enough in order to ensure that she was made whole. We've got to ensure that we do what we do and follow Jesus. Follow what's been laid out for us. It's already there for us right there in black and white. It says, go to the people that can help you. Don't go to the ones that you know already mean you no good. The doctors didn't mean her any good anymore. No sense in going back there. They did what they could do. She was broke. No sense in going to my girlfriend. I see them every 30 days. They out there and they doing what they can do, but they can't help me. Sometimes it's our girlfriends as women. Sometimes it's our girlfriends that hold us back.
Come on, you better speak.
Sometimes our girlfriends are our worst enemy. And if that is the case, we have to stop being in denial. And we have to start understanding that some people are not there for us. So sometimes we have to say enough is enough, even with our friends.
And so what you're saying with our friends, like sometimes like what do you feel like even if you know that the Lord is leading you a certain way and you know God is leading you in a certain way and they just don't understand what God is doing. How do you even navigate through that they don't understand type and you still value what they say, but then they're not understand what God is doing. So how do you even navigate with that?
When you have reached the breaking point, you're at broken. Now you're mended or mending, and you are in the process on the journey of mending. There's a time and a place and a space, and you have to reach that point where if they don't understand what God is doing for and through you on this journey, I love you, sis, or I love you, bro. But in this season, if what comes out of you is not of positivity and optimism, I'm gonna need you to hold your voice when you're around me. Through the journey of healing from brokenness, you may have to separate yourself from a lot of people. You love them, but because I love me more, that's where you go when you're enough is enough. You start loving you more. But because I love me more, and I've told people I love me more than I love you. And because I love me now in this season, because I love me more than I love you, I can say, let's hook up later on. Because the toxicity that is coming out of you, I'm not going to allow it to seep back in my being because I never want to be where I was. I'm on a journey. I'm on a mission. And I want to be propelled forward in holistic health. So the individuals who were walking with me before, some of those people, I like it. Grandmama and them used to say, folk I used to hang with, I don't hang with no more. Some of the people that I used to be around, I don't hang with them anymore. This is going to be, this one's going to blow your mind. And it's going to blow some other people's mind as well. Some of the organizations that I was in, I ain't in them no more. Oops. Why? Because if you've ever been marginalized and oppressed, and you've said enough is enough with being marginalized and oppressed, how can you be a part of an organization that's marginalizing and oppressing? How can you be a part of something where people say that somebody else is not good enough? No, enough is enough even with that. Because God said that we're all made in God's image. So if we're all made in God's image, then everybody's somebody. So enough is enough with that. So all of the organizations that I was a part of that said that we don't want this one. We don't want this one. Why? Well, because, oh no, I can't do that anymore. When enough is enough, you're at the breaking point, you're broken, you start coming on a journey of wholeness. You start to see the value of yourself, and then you start to see the value in everybody else. You see the value, start seeing that everybody has a value. You start to see that the woman who is unfortunately selling her body because she needs money in order to make it in life, and she doesn't see another way, you begin to see the value in that woman. You begin to see that she is somebody. You begin to see that she just needs a helping hand in order to be put into a better place and a better space. You start to see the person who is homeless. You start to see that they are somebody. You begin to see the value in them. They may need mental health treatment, and or they may need somebody to just give them a chance, right? You start seeing value in those people thought were valueless. And if anybody else comes in your space and they start stating they ain't ish, they ain't that, right? You have to, you remember, you start to remember. Once you reach that breaking point and you've got to enough is enough because of the fact that you've been oppressed and marginalized, when you hear people talking bad about someone else, you say, no, we're not going to do that. And if that person, you feel as if though they are horrible for you, I will help you and assist you with ridding yourself of whatever that is that they are putting in you. Or it may be that you just need to rid yourself of their company, because we should not be in a place where we are downing or dogging anyone. Why? Because I've been down and dogged. And if I've been down and dogged and it brought me to a breaking point, why would I want you to down and dog someone else? But most of the time when we down and dog someone, most of the time when we put our mouth on someone in negativity, it's because we are going through what we're going through. And hurt people.
Hurt people.
Hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. But that's not what we are here for. As women, we're here to build one another up. We're here to lift one another up. We're here to ensure that when you are down, I'm going to come down with you in order to bring you up. Now, I'm not all the way up, but I'm going to bring you up to where I am. And then we can go on this journey together. And there are so many women out there, Rochelle, that are saying enough is enough, but they don't have anyone that they feel can come and embrace them in their brokenness. We need to begin to embrace one another in our brokenness, because as long as you still have breath in your body, you have a chance to get out of whatever rut you are in, to get out of whatever headspace you are in, to get out of whatever that is stopping you from being who you be and living out who you be, which is hard in this country, in our communities where we've been told to be somebody else. Even my brothers, my Black brothers and sisters who are of the LGBTQ community, they said they're marginalized and oppressed. And I'm like, oh, y'all got all the rights, right? So, I got more rights than anybody, right? And they reminded me, I'm Black first. Oh. So I've had to be put, and they're like, no, so we are still at a breaking point. We are still being marginalized and oppressed because people keep forgetting we're Black first. So we're still fighting the fight. We're still fighting for equality and justice. And I said, oh. And enough is enough on that. And enough is enough has been that, right? Racism has been around since we were brought across the waters. So
Right.
that enough is enough. That's been something we've been singing about for over 400 years.
Right.
But the things that we can do something about, right? We need
Mm-hmm.
to do it. We need to make the difference where we can make a difference. Just like that woman with the issue of blood. Let's make a difference where we can make a difference.
Right.
Let's be about, go ahead, go ahead.
So yes, I love everything that you're saying, and I'm just so, oh, it's just so full off just the example of the woman with the issue of blood, and just the example of just how she pushed through, how she felt like, I've done everything I could, but enough is enough. I have to go and reach and touch the hem of his garment. That is so inspiring. That is a perfect example of a woman saying enough is enough. I'm not going to do what you want me to do and to be isolated. I'm going to be healed and be made whole. So I have to do it myself and touch the hem of his garment. That is, oh my God, so empowering. And I just want to thank you for just giving that analogy, giving us something that we can take hold of as women, and giving us some type of inspiration so that we know that we have examples in the Bible where women are standing up and taking charge and doing what they need to do to 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 be free, to be made whole. And I just want to thank you for that. And as we continue on, I want to move on to the interactive question and answers. So we do have some questions that are in the comments. And as I'm going through the comments and reading, please put your personal experiences. You may not want to be very detailed, but just give us examples of when you had to say enough is enough, or if you have a question of how you need to navigate, um, how to navigate through that. Just drop them in the comments and we'll get to them as soon as we can. So the first question that I have is, was there any rejection from those close to you once you made it up in your mind enough is enough?
Wow. Yes. Yes. I'm glad you asked that question. That is very good. I literally left the um, the AME church, literally. And those who are closest, don't do that. Don't do that. You don't want to do that. Oh my goodness, don't do that, right? Because people are gonna talk about you, or people are gonna say you quit, or people are gonna think that whatever. So, and that comes from my family, right? Because they didn't want anybody to say or think that I was a quitter. So there was rejection and pushback that they wanted me to stay. They wanted me to stay in that space, not realizing what I was being faced, what the trauma that was going on the inside. So how I dealt with the rejection was, because one thing you can't do, you can't get rid of your family. But what I did was I explained to them that it's not healthy for me. And once I did, I was done, right? I was finished. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore, right?
Yeah, so I know that had to been hard, because I'm in the AME church, love the AME church. I, eat, sleep, and breathe it. And I know that had to be hard for you to do that. And like you said you felt like it wasn't healthy for you. So moving forward, sometimes we have to make decisions that will be healthier for us. And I'm glad that you were able to do what was best for you. And maybe there's someone that have a certain scenario in their lives where they have to make a choice, and sometimes it has to be what will help me as a person, and that takes courage. And
Yeah.
I thank you for just giving an example because sometimes decisions are hard, and I believe that we even though that we all are in the body of Christ, so you didn't leave the serving God. You were able to navigate into where the Lord was the next phase God was leading you to. And so I thank the Lord for you being able to just help yourself navigate through another phase and another season in your life. And wow, that's yeah, especially when it comes with people that your family members, and they want the best for you, and they want to help you in such a way, and sometimes you have to go a certain way that be what other people expect and see. So the next question is, what role does faith play in helping recognize and act on areas where enough is enough?
Well, that is an inner question, right? It's an
Okay.
individual question because a lot of people, when you're at a breaking point, when you're at a breaking point, sometimes the word faith, um, because you're not, it's something that you're not seeing, right? It's just something that you're believing. And when you're at a breaking point, what is it that you're believing, right? Because breaking point, we have to understand that is dealing with the psychological is broken, the spiritual is has fallen apart, right? And the physical may be manifesting itself in ways that you are now sick. So when you say what role does faith play, it plays a very important role, but it plays an important role in understanding that now I feel powerless, I feel hopeless, and I feel helpless, but I'm going to reach out because I know I have faith that God has put something here for me. And I know I can do better than this, right? But it's something that you're going to really have to tap into. It's something that you're really, really going to have to tap into to keep you from losing your mind. So again, it's of the utmost importance because it is faith. That's the only thing that makes you say enough, because
Mhm.
you don't see where you're going. Again, you don't see where you're going. You don't know where you're going. So it's all about faith, but it's up to you to tap into it, that which is on the inside. And that's where I was. I tapped into it. It's going to be all right.
Mhm.
It's going to be all right. And it was all right. I got a phone call. I'm pastoring World Transformation. It was all right. But it wasn't all at that point. I couldn't see it. I didn't know where I was going. So you have to just understand that you may not be able to see nor know where you're going, right? Even with my women who are being battered and abused, you can't see it. You don't know where you're going, or you think you can't go anywhere. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You gotta tap way down on the inside though, and understand that you are created in the image of God. So the God is in you, but tap into that which is in you. And that's hard. It's easier said than done. I don't want to minimize what the question is. It's easier said than done. Get somebody on your team, right? Get somebody on
Mhm.
your team that you know has already been through. I'm gonna use the phrase that the old folks use, that's already been through hell and high water. Get somebody that's already been through that on your team so they can assist you with navigating and understanding how faith plays that role.
Yes. So I want to also ask a question of like, what are some communication techniques that we can use to help us communicate when we have had enough, but not in a way that is negative, but what are some positive communication techniques that we could use to help support, our what we're trying to say?
That is amazing that you asked that question, and it is amazing that you asked it in that way. Yes, it is. So it's funny because when I started today, I said I'm not churchy. It used to be churchy, right? But that wasn't me. That wasn't my authentic self, right? Uh, Communication. Um, you have to be one that is responsive and not reactive.
Right.
Because if you react, you're gonna say filth, flarn, filth, flarn, filth, flarn, filth. I'm cursing, so people know what I'm doing. If you react, that's what's gonna come out. But if you take time, whatever you are, whatever the situation is, and wait, take time and wait, and then come with the response. That is the best communication technique and tool, is to not just utter out. Take time and think about what is going on and think about what is happening, right? Or silence may be the key. Silence may be the key. Because if you enough is enough and the person or people are that traumatizing to you, or they have injured you verbally, physically, silence at the moment is the key, because you may not be strong enough to communicate anything. And sometimes communicating will lead you to a space and place where they're able to convince you that enough is not enough, and you will end up right back in that situation. So silence and walking away may be the key. And then you can always come back if you see them or see the situation, or you're in that space again, and you'll be strong enough to say, hello, how are you? Well, what are you doing now? Oh, I'm living my best life. I'm living my best life. So silence and or being responsive and not reactive, so that you have time to think over what it is that you need to say or need to do. Now, there are some times, in some instances, let's just be real, when you may need to go home and you may need to scream and holler and yell and curse and just go nuts and beat on the bed and let it out.
Mm-hmm.
God is not mad at you. We have minimized God to being us. God is not us. Thank God. But let it out. But don't do that in front of people. We have a notion to have temper tantrums in front of them. No, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Exercise good morals, good ethics. Understand that you are in control of your being. I can hear somebody saying, but I'm already at a breaking point. I'm about to cuss them out. Well, if you know that, change spaces, change your location. Like Sarah, the way Sarah and all of them did poor Hagar. Change spaces. They were doing that, girl. They did. Oh man, Abraham and Sarah did Hagar so wrong. But she had to move out. She had to move in order for God to talk to her. Because being in that space, she was traumatized. But once she was, God was able to say, girl, please, you are
Go
right.
back. Send her back.
Right, I got you. You are able to do it. Come on. But you see, she had to leave that space though.
Right.
React. She left that space so that she could get what she needed in order to be able to go back and be strong in the situation.
Wow. So you're getting so much feedback, some positive feedback in the comments. Cynthia Darville says, shake the dust off your feet and keep your focus. Michelle Vickers says, yes, powerful. Um, Cynthia Darville says, I'm not going to settle. Only the individual can say when enough is enough, and people are saying the comments are powerful. So this interview is so needed. This platform, I just want women to know that they have a voice, and you have given us so many levels. You've given us scenarios of women in the Bible. You talked about women of color. And you just talked about everything that can just give us hope, everything that can give us a place where we can leave this interview space and that they can hear this story and they can feel empowered. They can feel like I know how to navigate. I have some peace to help me if I'm ever going through this phase in life where I just have to say no more. And so I just want to thank you for being transparent. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for sharing your story because I know it's not easy. And I just want you to know that the people and the viewers are really enjoying what you're saying, what you're doing. And I want to commend you on all the work that you have done. And I want you to keep going, keep pushing, doing the work of the Lord. And I don't see any other comments here, but I do want to give you some final words before we close and do give a little sneak peek into the next episode.
I just want to thank you. You stay beautiful, courage, and always remember that you are you first. Take care of you first. And then love on those babies and that husband. Opportunity.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. So, if you've been blessed by this interview, please hit the share button. Let people know what Women's Empowerment Coffee Break is doing. We are trying to uplift the unheard voices of women, and we want to empower them. We want to uplift them. We want to give them a voice. We want to give them something, some form of hope to keep going, to keep moving. And so, if you have been inspired, if you have been empowered, hit the share button because we want to reach as many people as possible. So, next week, we have Dr. Shanae Porter, and she's going to talk about the topic of the journey of uncertainty. Sometimes we navigate our lives and we don't know which way to go. We're juggling everything and we're trying to see, are we hearing the voice of God? How to navigate this journey of uncertainty. So you don't want to miss it. Next week, June 21st, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I thank you all for joining this. I thank you all for just being a part, seeing you on here, supporting. Thank you so much. This means the world to me that you guys are tuning in every week, and I'm so thankful for that. So I will see you next week. June 21st, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Have a great evening.